My fellow Americans. So I'm the president of the local chapter here, and welcome everybody. I'm going to repeat a couple of things for the recording that we didn't get, that we've already said here, so just understand. First of all, I would love for everyone to mark their calendars. If you're at home, if you're here, mark your calendar. We are going to celebrate World Hypnotism Day, which is actually on January 4th, but we're going to celebrate it on the 6th because that's a Saturday. It'll be from around 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., somewhere around that time. We're this close to getting a location set up. We're going to bring in the public, show them about hypnosis. We're going to have all of you there. So even those of you that are watching at home, I hope that you will make it out for that big day. For the people in the room, will the board members raise their hands? Your board member, raise your hand. If you're interested, please reach out to one of those folks. If you're watching at home, just send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I want to let you know also. So today we have a really awesome guest. I'm really looking forward to hearing what she says. Also mark your calendars for next month. Next month we have Mary Leila Bay. She's going to be talking about reverse metaphors. And in November we have Roy Hunter will be speaking about spiritual hypnosis. Yeah, and the room went, yay! So we're really excited. We've got a great lineup of speakers, and so please tune in each and every month. Today, we have a very an active participant here in the local chapter. She's I think she's been to every meeting that I've seen lately. She's doing great work. She's turned her life around, from what I understand, just talking to her. And I can't wait to hear more about her story and the work that she does. Please give it up for Tina Worthey.
It's great to be here. No, that's just for that. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Delighted to be here. My name is Tina Worthey, and I don't say I am a this and this. My profession, how I currently make money, is I am a hypnotherapist. I do specialize in addiction or breaking habits. And I'm also a QHHT practitioner, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. Has any of you ever heard of that branch? Okay, it's kind of a thing unto itself, and so I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of explain what it is and how it's in its own little niche. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. And then we will do a journey into a possible future life set either 200, 500, or 700 years into the future. So it'll be, this is to be considered a fun exploration, not necessarily therapeutic. Although in my work as a quantum practitioner that, well, more on that when I get to that point. So I was raised in the Midwest. We had our summer house on a ranch in Colorado and our winter house in Little Casper, Wyoming. My parents didn't have a lot in common, so my summers was just me and Dad at the ranch with the horses and the cattle, and my winters I was spent going to school, but also after school learning to be a dancer and a singer, and very, very much into the performing arts. I was a very shy girl and discovered very quickly that being on stage, I could pretend to be whoever I wanted to be. I didn't have to be this version of myself that was, really shy. So, let's see, fast forward to, I got a scholarship to the University of Utah and majored in musical theater. I left home the day I graduated from college. I couldn't wait to get out. And but that year was very transformational because not only was I thrust into an environment where, well, Salt Lake City is kind of a thing unto itself. There's very strong religious belief there. And if you don't go along with those beliefs, then you're kind of ostracized. So I found myself very alone. My parents got a divorce that year, so I was on my own financially, and suddenly had to figure out how I was going to put myself through school if I was going to continue. I did not get the opportunities. And in Wyoming, Casper, I was the star. I was a prodigious tap dancer. And I got to the point where I was teaching tap dancing. I was choreographing all my high school and college musicals. I mean, I was a big fish in a small pond, you know? And I go from that to nothing. Yeah, and so I got an atheist boyfriend, and we did a lot of LSD. And I ended up dropping out and moving to Hollywood. Thinking I'm going to make it as an entertainer. That was my dream. That was my identity. So yeah, Hollywood, the city of lost angels. I was very innocent. So in that journey, I did make my living as an entertainer for 15 years. Not the way I thought I would. Never got discovered, but I became a snake charmer, fire eater. The only place I could get a job on stage was at the strip clubs, but I got to the top tier of the strip clubs at this place called the Body Shop on Sunset Boulevard, where I started developing my shows, my acts. I was really creative. And then I got discovered by some movies, did a lot of music videos, basically became the Hollywood snake lady. I eventually formed my own production company where I was, booking all these shows. You want a Hawaiian show? Sure. You want a jungle show? Sure. You want stunts? Sure. And this time I had also learned martial arts because Hollywood does not treat its women very well. I was really tired of being just a piece of meat. And so I developed this whole persona. I even named myself Athena. Athena was my stage name. And if you know mythology, Athena burst out of Zeus's head in full armor. So I became the warrior woman. And my motto was, I'd rather fight than, so. Let's see, what else was I going to say about that? At one point, well, I felt like I was doing battle not only with, how Hollywood treats women, but how society treats women in general, including in my significant relationships. It always became this power struggle on one level or another. Okay, just breathe. So I ended up with this partner who we also started a production company, but I didn't know that he was embezzling all of our money. I came home one day, walked out of my townhouse, and also I need to mention by this time I was choreographing this show, and I thought I was finally making it as an entertainer, as a stunt coordinator. This movie called Death Gamers with these martial artists and bodybuilders, and I was the stunt choreographer. And we had the budget fell apart, so we were trying to get enough money to finish the project. But by this time, I was running on my painkiller, which was methamphetamine, just to keep up this persona, keep up with my life. And when I came home one day and walked out of my townhouse, I lost everything. And that was going to be a weird chapter, but circumstances. I ended up getting kidnapped by the Russian mafia and barely survived my life, and was told I needed to leave Hollywood. I can't go back to Hollywood. It was do or die. And that's how I ended up out here in Seattle. That's when I met D.L. Scott. And had he not had that harm reduction program, I'm not sure if I would have pulled. Well, I would have eventually, but I now know that harm reduction is such an important thing. You got to take people where they're at and where they're ready to build that self-esteem, because my identity was so tied up in what I did. And And when that was ripped from me, I mean, it's nothing to lose your material possessions, but to lose your dreams and your identity and just everything, it's devastating. Okay, but long story short, I pulled myself out of that. I tried different things to make a living. None of it was fulfilling. I tried personal training. I tried casino dealing. I thought that would be fun. Not. I tried bus driving. And after 15 years as a stunt woman, it's the bus driving that tore me apart physically. So I ended up getting an on-the-job injury. But that led to me getting a new education in addiction studies so that I can help people with addictions. If I can pull myself out of where I was, if it's late stage, no hope, then anybody can, and I can help facilitate that. Let's see, but on the journey, I also, there was a bus driver friend who had a near-death experience. And he explained he was an army person, and the near-death experience changed his whole outlook on life. There is more to us than this skin we're in here. And he developed his own program on quantum hypnosis, called it I and I. So I did his program, which was really heavy on the quantum physics. So I got exposed to quantum physics and how that they say there is everything is energy, and there's a reality beyond this reality that makes this reality possible. Collapse of the quantum wave function, and we live in an infinite field of possibilities. So that opened my mind to this whole quantum thing. His education was very intellectual, but not too practical. So he said, go and find someone you can resonate with to be your role model. And so that's how I found Dolores Cannon and her QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. So what is that? So Dolores and her husband, they were, clinical hypnotherapists back in the 50s and 60s, I believe. And they were doing just a regular hypnosis with someone and regressed her back to, okay, where's the original cause of this issue? And she goes into a life in the 1920s, very detailed. And that was one of the first experiences of this thing we now call past life regression. It's very detailed. And then Dolores, know more about this. So her quest to discover sacred knowledge and reincarnation led her to develop this QHHT. And not only that, she found what she was looking for and so much more. This type of hypnosis gently guides you to what she calls the somnambulistic level of trance. But that's a word that has different meanings depending on who you talk to. Her definition of somnambulistic was so deep that you don't consciously remember. That's why we record the sessions, but that doesn't happen so often anymore because the right and the left side of our brain are becoming more integrated now. Mike Mandel's definition of the word somnambulistic is just the working state of hypnosis. But either way, it's a very deep state where, because of brain waves, more of your consciousness opens up. She also discovered that there is a part of us, underneath that, we're going to call the superconscious, that has the memories of everything we've experienced in all of our existences throughout space and time. Now, that's a huge field, right? But you are only going to experience memories or remembrances of your existences that have relevance to your current now. So that's part of what makes this work so interesting and profound. Where was I going to go next? So when we talk about visualize, you have your clients visualize. a lot of my clients say, well, I can't visualize. So you say, well, it's not like you see with your waking eyes. When you close your eyes, it's what you see with your mind. And I've discovered that visualize may not be the best term for what happens there, because we all receive information differently, depending on our own makeup. Some people receive information more audibly, inaudibly. Some people get feelings. I'm very kinesthetic. I get a feeling, and then I'll get images that bring context to those feelings. Yeah, we all, some people get downloads of information, others, it speaks in symbols or even numbers or music. I mean, the totality of our consciousness is so much more than our little human brains can even comprehend, I believe. So the work of QHHT, most of my clients are either having spiritual awakenings, want to deepen their spiritual or quantum connection, or you come in with a set of questions that you want to ask your superconscious, your higher self. And then typically you get these questions answered during the process. So what we're going to do today, and speaking of using like therapeutic future life progressions, it's not recommended to do that therapeutically. For instance, somebody wants to experience my life 5 or 10 years down the road. But what if you take them there and they're not there? So you don't want to do that. However, you can, what I have done in the therapeutic situation is something like they have a decision to make. So it's more like a timeline. So we say, okay, in this door, you're going to go to the timeline where you make this decision. And then this, we're going to go to a door where you make this decision. Or in a relationship, partners, should I stay or should I go? You know, there's not only the couple, but there's using the kids to consider. So you get to see it from a whole different angle. A really great one that I did not long ago was on that question. Okay, if I stay, this is a possible timeline. If I go, and see, it helped make the decision much clearer for that individual. Brian Weiss also uses, he's another hypnotherapist who transcends time and space, and he does use, he's called future life progressions in his work. So it does have therapeutic value. But what we're going to do today is just a fun, and I'm not saying it's actual memory, if it's just making it up, if it's metaphor, doesn't matter. It's the message of your superconscious or subconscious. Okay, it's the same as happens in our dreams. It communicates with us. It's beyond our conscious little mind that likes words stuff. It's a whole new level of communication that is much more accurate. So how Dolores did when I do these workshops, people start with doing 3 little visualization exercises just to kind of prime you and make some points about how we visualize. So I invite you now to, in a moment, I'm going to have you close your eyes and just follow me along with just a couple of visualizations. And again, it's not like a mind movie, but you do want to try to drop out of your analytical mind and more into your right side, the creative side of your mind. Okay, and I'm going to test my microphone. Just make sure this is true. So gently close your eyes. Am I on? Test. Testing. There we go. Gently close your eyes. And allow yourself to just Relax. Now imagine that you're standing on the corner of a busy street. Standing on the corner of a busy street. What do you hear? You smell. Notice everything around you. Take in all the details. It's a busy street. Now close that scene. Now you are standing on the platform of a train station. There's a train coming. You feel the vibration. Can you hear sounds of the train? What are you doing in this scene? What are the smells? Now close that scene. And now you're riding on a carousel, like you did when you were a child. Feel the motion as the animals move up and down. Hear the movers as you're reliving being on a carousel. All those memories associated with that event. And allow. And now go ahead and open your eyes. Yeah. So what was that like for you? When you were on a busy street, was that like one memory, or did you have like several? How many had just one specific place? Did anyone like go to multiple busy streets? Mm-hmm. Okay. And how about the standing on a platform? How has anybody never like been to a train station? Yeah. So how did it work for you?
Yeah, okay. I was kind of thinking of like movie type, and then I just gave up and went to like the light rail.
Okay. Okay.
I was in the Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's where I went too. Yeah. But when I went to the train station, I was in the Harry Potter thing. So okay, that means we are influenced by what we see, not necessarily what we do physically, but movies, okay, can influence our subconscious. How about did anybody go to like a futuristic train? Sometimes what we do is people imagine a train station in the future. So, yep. How about the carousel? Is that fun to feel the motion? Mm-hmm. Have you all been on a carousel? Yeah. Is anybody not?
I'm entirely sure.
So what was that like for you?
It was like waking up in a lucid dream, and I found myself sort of looking at the forest and the quality of the forest and the wood and what the other things were around me. I'm
Nice.
not entirely sure I've been on movies. It's supposed to be patterned after movies. I think that's
Yes. Yes, it's interesting how our minds pick up bits of information and put it together. This is, very relevant to, what you may experience as we, in a moment, visit a possible future life. Because apparently in the quantum field of possibilities, time is not linear. Past, present, future all exist simultaneously It's mind. And there is only just the eternal now. So, therefore, you can remember the future. How cool is that? Now, when Dolores does these in her workshops, people tend to have similar experiences depending on which future door they go through. People that go through the 200 years in the future, or the 500 year, or the 700 year. And afterwards, we share and kind of compare experiences. Now, again, you won't be able to go super deep like we do in a quantum healing hypnosis session. When I have my sessions with people, I lay them down in my special meditation room, and so we can go really, really deep. Sessions last about 4 hours. First 2 is talking, interviewing, going over your questions, and then you're under for at 1 to 2 hours in deep hypnosis. It's quite lovely. We record them. Yeah, really profound one just yesterday, and I no longer label a past life, another life experience in which he was in a tribe of people that felt so connected to the earth that they knew that this was the place that they were meant to be, because everything communicated with them, the plants, the animals, they honored the animals whenever they had to, just in complete harmony, until the white people came and wrecked everything. You know your story. Yeah. But for him to experience that connection was exactly what he needed in relevance to what he's going through in his current life. That was the message. So, are you ready for a little fun exploration? And if we have time, then we'll compare afterwards. So, your choices are going to be, you're gonna have the option to go into a possible future life, set 200 years in the future, 500 years in the future, or 700 years in the future. Okay, let's get my microphone. Okay, so induction. Let's all just to find a nice, comfortable place to sit on with your feet flat on the floor, however is comfortable for you. Uncross your arms. Uncross your arms. In fact, I want you to just place one of your arms just out to the side, as if it is resting on a little shelf. Just pretend that you're resting your hand on a little shelf. There you go. Close your eyes, and then pretend that you're not pretending. Just let that rest there. Can you create your own catalytic arm? And now allow a wave of relaxation to go from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Your conscious mind can only focus on a few bits of information, and your unconscious mind takes in the big picture. Your conscious mind gives meaning to words, and your unconscious mind knows all the meaning. And your conscious mind keeps track of 7 bits of information per second. And your unconscious mind keeps track of 1,000,000 things at once. Your conscious mind thinks it's in control. And your unconscious mind is in control. Your conscious mind has a narrow focus, and your subconscious sees everything. Your conscious mind likes sequence, and your unconscious mind takes in everything at once. Eternal now. Your conscious measures time linearly, and your superconscious mind transcends time and space. Your superconscious mind knows music, sound, waves, color, and symbols. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to create a control panel where you can switch off the analytical part of your mind. And as you do that, your hand will gently fall, descend back down completely to its resting position. As you enter and open your mind to the realm of infinite possibilities, and is now resting comfortably as you open your mind. You are standing at the foot of a very tall marble staircase. The stairs are wide and deep, so you have to stop at each step. On the top, there is a marble platform. You are moving up the stairs, one stair at a time. Now you have reached the top of the staircase. And on the platform, there are 3 doors. The door on the left has a number 2 on it. This represents a door leading 200 years into the future. The door in the center has the number 5 on it. This represents a door leading 500 years in the future. And the door on the right has a number 7 on it, leading 700 years possible life in the future. Choose the door you will enter. Now open the door you have chosen, and on the other side, you see thick, dense fog. Step through the door and into the thick fog. As you feel yourself moving through the thick fog, your present day body is dissolving and becoming part of the fog. The fog begins to dissipate. And now you are out of the fog and you find yourself in a different body or a different form. Get a sense of the body or form you are in now. If you have one. Get a sense of this self, this future life. What are you wearing? What are your shape like? Does it feel the move of this body? How do you move? Become aware of yourself in whatever environment you find yourself in. Now get a sense of your surroundings. Where do you find yourself? Fill in the details. The images solidify. What's going on around you? Now go to where you live in this life. When you go to the place you live or replenish, is there anyone else there? Can you get a sense that there is a connection between you and any other there? Now get a sense how do you spend your time? What activities spend your time doing? You get a sense of your purpose or mission. Now leave that scene and move forward in that life to an important or significant day. A day you consider to be an important day. Something significant is happening. What do you see? What do you hear? What are you feeling? How are you participating in this eventful day? Take it all in. Now close that scene, leave that scene and move forward in time in this life to another important day in this possible future life. Another life-changing day. Take note, what's going on? Fill in as much detail as you can. Sights, sound. Now leave that scene and move forward once again to the last day of life. You can see what happens to you on that day. It won't bother you to look at it. Look at it like an observer. The last day of your life in that lifetime. I'm aware of the transition. Now whatever happened has already happened, and you are now on the other side of it. Now go back into the fog from whence you came. Go back into the fog. And as you're in the fog, feel your present day body start to reform around you. Back in your present day body, now fully formed. Go back through the door whence you came. And down the stairs, faster than when you came up. And remember, count from 1 to 5, back to the present time consciousness. 1, nicely. 2, feeling energized. 3, remembering the messages. 4, almost there. 5, wide awake, wide awake. September 9th, 2023, wide awake, fully alert. Hey,
And so when you share, can you go up to the podium so it records better? We can get our responses.
would anyone like to share? I could start with the experience I had when last time I did this. Do I need this?
It might be great because it might pick up better. If it
Okay.
records.
So I chose 300 years in the future. I did this not too long ago. I found myself in a structure that was semi-aquatic. It had dome glass windows, very, very round. I was married, I had kids, and as the life progressed, grandkids. I was female, I had long red hair. I was very happily married. We were working on bringing back the biodiversity on this particular part of Earth. We called it Tiger Island. I love cats, tigers, and so relevant to me, we were repopulating this island for tigers. And we got most of our sustenance, our food from the underwater gardens and aquatics, the fish and the plant life that we were very concerned about the health of in this little pocket of the world. It was really pristine and beautiful, and just really nice to be a part of that. And I lived a very long life. I never cut my hair. It was long and gray. And I died peacefully in my bed with all my family around me.
Wow. Great.
When Dolores does these, they're very pertinent to when she has people share. There's relevance. I think it was one of the doors. There's a lot of extraterrestrial and alien stuff going on. Did anybody experience any of that? I would love to hear somebody like to come share. Wait, come on.
Okay. Say the theory's coming.
So we have a volunteer. Want to use the mic?
I think it might pick up better on the recording. That'd be great if you could.
You're on.
Well, this was nothing what I expected. In fact, I chose the door for 500 years, and I expected to come out of that fog and see things very futuristic, metal, everything, cities, nothing like that. I came into a very, very natural setting, trees, flowers, shrubs, plants. Everything was really, really calm and good. There was a lake, and there was a waterfall coming into that lake. When I moved forward, I was living in kind of a dome arena, but once again, it was very, very simplistic and very natural. I almost felt like it was Native American, that the people I was looking at didn't look Native American at all. So, and I was in a relationship in this 500 years, but it was so very, very natural. Like I said, it was nothing what I expected. I expected this my science fiction city, but it was just a very, very interesting natural setting. And on the last day, I was actually floating on a floater on the lake, and I was very, very aged, and I could feel myself passing away, and it started to get dark, and I felt like the trees bent over, lifted me up, and let me go into the universe. And that was my experience.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. This is to show how, we like to think of time as linear, but think it is. Would anyone else? I would love to hear somebody else share. Ken Barth. Great, thank you. Which door did you pick?
Hi guys, I picked door number 2, 500 years. As I solidifying through the fog, I came into the body of being like a young, maybe lighter, darker skinned male that was just in my residence, my home, just in my place, my domicile. I expected to have a lot more technology as I looked around, but it was just actually a bit more calmer. It just seemed like it was more engineered for calm environments. So maybe there's more technology in the future, but maybe in the future I realize you don't need as much technology to be at peace. So the environment was a bit more serene and calming. That was one thing. And I was trying to look into who I was, and it seemed like I was I was a lot less emotional. It's a lot more analytical and slower paced and understanding of the world that I was in. Less confused and with a much deeper sense of purpose. And the purpose was towards efficiency based. And so like it seemed like I've been raised in a more of a scientific, consistent manner with other people that made me a lot more efficiency based. Where I had a deeper purpose for working towards humanity as a whole. And so when I advanced into the future, I was probably like in my late 20s or something. I was working for a corporation or some organization that was working on, maybe it was like the Amazon of our today or something large that was working on things with great purpose. And my team had just developed something, this great accomplishment. Maybe in civilization, it was a very minor accomplishment, but to my team, it was a huge one. And it was for the purpose of advancing civilization. And so my deepest purpose wasn't anything internal or self-absorption. It was just for the purpose of advancing humanity for efficiency purposes. And then when my deathbed, I didn't have any partners. I didn't have any friends in my future life or anything. But laying on my deathbed, it was just at complete peace by myself in a place of calmness, just a white room, just allowing a more natural process of from beginning to end, or a deep purpose of serving humanity as a whole.
How does what you experience have relevance to you?
I think now I'm very efficiency and generation after generation based of trying to make things better and better. And so it kind of ties into my personality already a little bit, but it's just a more natural, less self-absorbed, more mission oriented, for the betterment of humanity sort of purpose that helps me understand.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Love to hear this. Again, these all tend to have relevancy to your current life situation. Okay. Wait for 1 or 2 more shares. Was anyone not able to go into a possible future life? I did. Cool. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine too.
I'll come around and then I won't trip on the wire.
I was gonna go with you that. There you go.
I know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Or can you hear me?
Loud
Is
and
that-
clear.
Is that better? Okay. Yes, I went to a beautiful place with just like Scott was saying, lots of plants and trees and flowers.
Which door did you pick?
Door number 2, 500 years now.
These.
The whole goal and the whole feeling was sharing, compassion, empathy. And I lived in a building with a whole bunch of other people. We had a central living room. Everybody had their own apartment with their children in this one building. And we all had a beautiful porch where we could be by ourselves and enjoy all the beautiful plants and the trees and so forth. We grew our own food, and the whole area was that way. Nobody was sick. We could heal each other. No hospitals. just a feeling of understanding that we have the ability to heal ourselves when we were in a state of empathy, compassion, and caring for one another. And it was beautiful because nobody was fighting. We had people of every shape and size and diversity and color, and we all got along. And we accepted each other's thoughts. We could actually understand each other without even speaking sometimes. But it was the idea of living with empathy, compassion, and love. And there wasn't trauma and hate and anger. It was what we call a utopia. And one of the days was them coming into life with birthing. And then the second day was Thanksgiving, where we all had our Thanksgiving together in this great big big conference room where we would get together when we wanted to. And then as I was leaving, there was no discomfort. You didn't have to go away into a box and be fed drugs. It was peaceful, just as Native American thoughts. You look up and you're supposed to go. And then up there, everybody was happy. So it was a nice visit. I hope it doesn't take 500 years.
Yeah, I know. You know, there's so much hope for the future. You know, we have the power today to shape what tomorrow brings. Oh, we do. Anyone else? Right. Well, thank you so much for participating on that little journey. Again, I'm a QHHT practitioner, and would offer a discount to anyone who would be interested in having a full-on session. Typically, they're done in person, but I've also facilitated via Zoom. You're gonna schedule at least 4 hours. And thank you again, MGHWA, for having me. And I'll turn it back over to Ben.